Would you like me to say a few words of welcome, but you just start?
Sure, whatever you, yeah. I'm your guest, so whatever you want.
Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the COP28 Digital Innovation Pavilion. We are here to give digital solution providers the opportunity to come to present the solutions that are out there to the community of global climate governance, global climate action, and so that we together work on advancing, accelerating, transformative change towards a world in which everyone, everywhere can take meaningful and rewarding action for the climate. And we are delighted to have today Summer Bishay from Carrier One, who is presenting his solution for connecting decentralized wireless, which is very important to bridge the digital divide. Summer, welcome and looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you, Mir. Super excited to be here today at the Digital Innovation Pavilion for the COP28 in Dubai. So I'm here to talk about Carrier One and how we're helping bridge the digital divide and connect the unconnected. The minute we start realizing that networks is not just about connecting places, but actually connecting lives, we'll quickly realize how important and crucial a function telecom networks take in our daily lives. And this is why it's near and dear to my heart. I've been building telecom networks globally for almost 25 years, and there's a misconception that the digital divide is only in third world countries. Believe it or not, if you go to Canada or the US, you just drive an hour like north of Toronto, and you'll actually not have any sort of connectivity. Same is true in the US and a lot of rural, remote areas. So it is the challenge is real, and it's affecting our lives. So what exactly is Carrier One? What we're doing is we're building a carrier-grade telecom network, but using blockchain technology. And the reason why blockchain plays an important role here is it's the whole zero trust concept of being able to plug in a network that you're going to communicate over, but without having to know anything about that person that's running the network. So if you think about solar panels, and you install a solar panel on top of your roof, and then you sell electricity back to the grid and monetize on it. This is exactly what we're doing with Carrier One, but for cell phone signals and smartphone signals for 4G, 5G connectivity, and the next G really. And the idea is we allow people to become part of that shared and circular economy to monetize on an asset and actually provide service to their neighbors, their communities, rural, indigenous. And I'm going to talk specifically about indigenous because we've done some proof of concepts with indigenous communities in Canada and the US, and we'll showcase some of the stuff. So back to the point, new mobile network allowing anyone to create connectivity where they need it. And the idea of kind of bridging also the divide of, we talk about like Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and then we're talking about the Web 3.0, where people are actually creating content and becoming part of that ecosystem. Well, telco is kind of stuck at like telco 1.5. We haven't really evolved beyond that. And the reason is it's because it's controlled by oligopolies that are huge companies that are just slow to move, and to innovate is very challenging for them. So what we're doing with Carrier One as well is creating wallet integration to that ecosystem so that you're able to transact with people and connect with people without having to remember like a 16-digit hexadecimal wallet address, for example, and you're able to transact using a phone number that you already know and you have in your wallet, literally your wallet. So here's a little video.
Introducing the latest form of technology, where users will be able to take control and monetize their mobile usage without the reliance of a centralized provider. Canada's only global decentralized wireless telecommunications network. 1/3 of the global population has been left without connectivity. The solution is here with Carrier One. Our first imprint starts with our beloved First Nations community in Canada, who have been left neglected in regards to their connectivity. Our team was able to successfully complete radio installation on the Six Nations Reserve, providing connectivity for the whole community. Our network will allow them to interact with their friends and family without difficulty, a basic human right that every person deserves to have. The future of telecom is here. Carrier One.
So this video is actually at a community about an hour west of Toronto, and believe it or not, it's a First Nations community that has almost no service, and there's 3 service providers that cover, on the fringe of it, but nobody has ever bothered to go in there just because it did not make any financial sense for the operators. So we took the opportunity to not just bring them connectivity, but also help them monetize on that connectivity. And the way the model works is for every dollar that comes into the network, whether it's roaming or a subscriber, 50% of that goes back to the gateway owner, which is huge for them. So it's basically we're basically franchising out the network component of a telecom network. So 1/3 of the world's population is so that's almost 3 billion people that are not connected. And this is exactly how it's not going to be solved. The problem is not going to be solved by the incumbent operators, because if it was that easy, it would have been done already. And the only way we're going to be able to tackle this problem is basically miniaturizing or breaking down this problem and allowing people to help build that network using these radio nodes that connect to a much bigger network and creating that mesh basically for everybody to consume. The problem could be, I guess, divvied up in 4 pillars. So we've talked about the underserved users. So these are communities, whether Indigenous or just remote areas. And it solves the problem of, the reduced inequalities. So part of the SDGs that the UN talks about, this helps bridge that digital divide, so that there's also a gender equality divide when it comes to digital. Women have less access to data and information, and it puts them at a huge disadvantage to be able to tackle the equality issue between gender. And obviously the education, I mean, that's a no-brainer. If you don't have access to the internet now, then you really are in the dark age. So now we're able to empower people to deploy these nodes on the side of their homes, and they're able to provide connectivity, not just for themselves, but for their neighbors. Now you have enterprise users as well, so you can think of like the oil, gas, mining communities, or even a warehouse that requires, whether it's a connection in the middle of nowhere. They would normally have to go to the incumbent operator today, whether it's like an AT&T or a Verizon, and basically ask them to provide service at this latitude and longitude. And it would take almost a year before the operator is even able to get to them. And it would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now we're able to put that power in their hands, that they can deploy these nodes for a fraction of that cost. I mean, we're talking each node about $10,000 on average. And they're able to deploy and be up and running in basically a matter of hours. The non-dominant telcos, so those are basically the like the dish networks of the world, where they don't have market share like an incumbent operator like an AT&T that dominated a market for decades. And they're basically in a race to provide access and coverage so that consumers can sign up to their service and be able to compete with the incumbent operators. And the only way they're going to do that is they got to buy time. And there's only so much time they can buy with money. But if they can get the multiplier effect of people helping build the network for them and sharing that piece of the pie, then they become a much faster deployer of their network nationwide. And last but not least are the established telcos. So if you think of an AT&T, well, why would an AT&T even want to participate in something like this? Believe it or not, a lot of areas globally, not just, I mean, I'm just using AT&T because it's everybody knows who AT&T is, but globally, if you go to an airport, you know, chances are coverage is really poor. If you go to an underground parking garage downtown Los Angeles, you actually lose access. You can't dial a 911 number. And now, if AT&T could go and give the landlord the ability to deploy a node using their spectrum and provide access so that customers, AT&T customers and others, are able to provide public safety and internet, then all of a sudden they can provide better access and coverage and just better consumer satisfaction overall. So here we showcase different types of deployments. These can go on towers, on rooftops. Even this one is interesting, the third one, because we made it a point. This is a parking lot in Toronto, connected to a Starlink dish and some batteries. And running off like solar cells, we're able to provide coverage using satellite. So we basically connect the Starlink to the radio, and we're able to emit a signal, which the showcasing here is basically you could be in the middle of nowhere and provide full cell phone access. And you saw part of the video that was in the First Nations Reserve in close to Toronto there. So this is a carrier grade. So other companies have tackled this problem, but like from a data only perspective, so like a Wi-Fi network, like a mesh. But this is an actual full carrier grade network that will allow you to dial, like use your existing SIM card and dial voice calls. It's not data only, so it's voice and data. You can do SIM, eSIM. So depending on which generation phone you have. Obviously, you know, Starlink ready, because the idea is, once again, you're in the middle of nowhere and you need connectivity. You can bring that up and running. You can have a network up and running. So it becomes a much more inclusive approach to helping bridge that digital divide. So one of our points is, one of the pillars, if you notice, like we do work with operators. Carrier One does not want to become an operator itself. We basically want to be an orchestration platform that helps operators leverage their existing assets to be able to deploy service. And we believe in partnerships. This is a snapshot from our dashboard that as soon as so if you were to order a node and you get this node delivered to your home, as soon as you plug it in, it'll actually pick up your GPS coordinates, give you a network performance on your link, on your IP link, and it will show you the operators that are trying to ping your network. So in this case, this was actually a live snapshot off one of the nodes where we had people from different parts of the world trying to reach our node that did not, because of its positioning, it did not have any other cell phone service, and that's why we're able to provide access to customers from AT&T, customers that were visiting from the Bahamas, I guess, customers that were visiting from Hong Kong. So once again, it's all about the partnerships, and it's not just about becoming or competing with the mobile operators. It's complementary. So here's another. This is I like this video because it kind of. So this is the president of First Nations Cable, the same place that we showed the video earlier, and he'll just tell you a little bit about his experience here.
Hi, my name is Jeff Thomas. I'm with First Nations Cable, and we've been working closely with Carrier One to provide a south service to go along with our current services. Very exciting times. We're looking forward to the new services that have been fired up just recently. We want to be able to supply our reserve entirely with a decent cell service at a decent rate.
So Jeff, super excited to be here today and see our first site install. I mean, this is really a game changer for our industry, the telecom industry, and you've been at it for so long. I mean, how do you feel about this?
Oh man, this is exciting times. Between us bringing in the broadband,
Yeah,
making that all available, our project with fiber to the home. And then now to be able to add the cell phone to our list of services that we can provide.
this is a great practical way of actually getting people engaged and build a network
that actually feeds back to the grid, no different than solar panels. But nobody ever wanted to do grid telecom because it's controlled by the oligarchs, right? So exactly. I mean, this is super exciting, and yeah, I mean, why don't we just go for a little walk?
All right. Fine tuning, and I think we're good.
Off to the races. All right. Well, yeah, it's like ground zero right here. Super excited. Jeff, thanks for having us today. And
Sure.
yeah,
Thank you.
So that's a presentation. Would love to. That's my LinkedIn QR code. If you want to scan it, I'd love to stay connected. And if you know of any community that needs to bridge the digital divide, we're here to help. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sama. And this is really high potential for reaching the underprivileged, the disconnected people in an economically meaningful way and in the decentralized way where the individuals and communities can take action and not waiting for any big telecoms or national governments or whoever to provide services. So this is the new world that is possible with Web3, with digital innovation. Yeah, and we will, with our Global Changes Action Empowerment ecosystem and multi-stakeholder partnership, we have also the vision to have our app, the individual SDGs and climate action app on everybody's mobile device, but we have also the vision to have a GLOCHA center, Global Changes Action Center, in every city and every local community. And here, I think that we will find ways to cooperate so that we will together bring also internet and solutions and resources and knowledge to communities and individuals all over the world. So thank you very much for your great work. And the next session, as we are talking about local communities and also space technologies and everything, is with ICLEI and ESA, European Space Agency. And we were just switching the sessions for the live broadcast. In 2-3 minutes, we will be back.